We kind of imagine we're in a country that should benefit. We are less than 1 million Guyanese. And the truth is, we have been struggling. The politician just uses the system to enrich themselves, their friends, their families, and we, the poorer class people, have to face all the struggles to get. And so, for us, that is. I think we deserve better.
Better than that.
In the edition Economic Development by Michael Tadaro and Stephen Smith, they engage in a serious discussion about same subject, economic development. They pose some basic but thought-provoking questions right at the onset. For example, they are interested in understanding why living conditions differ so drastically for people across different countries and regions. Why are some so poor and others so rich? Yes, they question the many disparities in income and wealth, but also in health, nutrition, educational outcomes, freedom of choice, women's rights, environmental quality, access to markets, security, and political voice, or the lack thereof. They wanted to understand why populations are growing so rapidly in some countries, while in others, like Guyana, experience population stagnation. Tadaro and Smith, like many Guyanese, question why the provision of public services is so inefficient, insufficient, and corrupt in some countries, while so effective seemingly in others. Bewildering, I know, but fortunately, Tadaro and Smith didn't leave readers hanging. In the paragraphs that followed those thought-provoking questions, Tadaro and Smith define development as the process of improving the quality of all human lives and capabilities by raising people's levels of living, self-esteem, and freedom. Further, in another edition, Development as Freedom, by winner of the Nobel Peace Prize in Economics, Amartya Sen, describes development as the process of expanding the real freedoms that people enjoy. Against that backdrop, the Caribbean Investment Forum Conference 2024, held in Georgetown, Guyana, succeeded at painting an impressive picture about Guyana's economic transformation and investment profile. Indeed, the conference attracted interests and participation from as far as Europe, North America, and all across the Caribbean region. The Caribbean Investment Forum aimed to attract investments that help to fast-track the Caribbean's transition to a greener and smarter regional economy. It promoted the Caribbean as a prime investment destination and fostered connections between investors and businesses. And as the EU ambassador to Guyana, Ambassador René Van Nies, said, what better country than Guyana for such a forum to host this conference, right? The new shiny object to seduce and entice the foreign dollars for investment opportunities. Now, let's be clear. By any measure, Guyana's current transformation has to be a welcomed development to any well-meaning Guyanese. Talk about the infrastructure development, the lowering of the unemployment rates, the rapid growth in personal incomes, housing development, the increased number of small and medium-sized enterprises, businesses in Guyana, the increased tourism and foreign investors, and, although debatable, the increased number of immigrant workers. But what of Guyanese, at home and abroad? How are we responding to these opportunities? Well, Guyana Tapestry had the opportunity to catch up with a Guyanese family living in the United States, the state of Georgia. The founder and CEO of Humanity Soil LLC, Lancelot De Silva, and his parents traveled to Guyana for the Caribbean Investment Forum 2024 and shared with Guyana Tapestry some of his takeaways.
My primary reason for traveling to Guyana today to be a part of this Caribbean Investment Forum is to present my business. I'm an owner and operator of a sustainable land development business. So what we do is we do sustainable land clearing as well as soil and land enhancements. And the reason why I came to Guyana, one, I think it's very important as a Guyanese American, as a part of the diaspora, right, is to embrace the culture. I grew up in the culture, right? I first visited Guyana.
So you yourself were not born in Guyana?
I was not born in
Gotcha.
Guyana.
Okay.
I first came to Guyana, visited Guyana in 2016.
Okay.
I came back every single year after that and made sure it's a commitment that I come to the country. Before the big oil findings and the publicity of Guyana, I seen the country in 2016 in the development up until this point. It's been amazing for the country, right?
There is,
and I see so much more opportunity for growth,
Yes.
right? Being a very small population, being a very large country
Yes.
full of resources,
Yes.
and then sustainability to me is not just a buzzword, right? It's a passion.
Evidently.
And so that's really where I want to bring my expertise and background in sustainability
Yes.
to help better develop the country for the future generations.
Wonderful. How old is your business?
I say the business idea concept started in 2018.
I see.
Then we started to do small projects,
Yes.
and in 2024, full time. Been doing a lot of projects in Georgia, but the main goal, even when I started the business, right, was to come to Guyana.
I see.
Now, the equipment, the resources, the information is not currently in the country.
Right.
Because we use specialized equipment to do land clearing. That's what makes it sustainable. It's not a bulldozer, it's not an excavator. It's what you call a skid steer with a specialized mulching head that rather than pushing down the trees, it mulches down the trees, returning organic matter into the earth, creating more stability, adding more nutrition to the earth, right? And so started in Georgia, but my goal has always been to come to Guyana, and that's why I'm here today.
I see. So what have you learned so far? Given your objectives for coming, do you feel like you've achieved those objectives?
Well, my main objective, if somebody said, hey, here's $1 million, bring all your equipment over
Get the
here,
capital.
then that would be, so capital investment.
right.
But I've definitely made strategic partners, right?
Understood.
And had great conversations
Yes.
and next steps on how I can take my business and better position it to bring it here to Guyana. So that's really what I've learned so far.
Yes.
It's one more day, right? So there's more to uncover
Yes,
and
yes,
more
yes.
opportunities to learn about
Yes,
as we
yes.
continue to network.
Yes, wonderful. And so, given the experience, the exposure, the interactions,
Yep.
what would be your advice, maybe encouragement to insights to share to other Guyanese in the diaspora who
Absolutely.
may have heard or interested in investing in Guyana in one way, shape, or form? What would you say to them?
I mean, the opportunities exist for sure. Small country, small population, excuse me, right? Large, very strong GDP, right? Growing constantly,
yes.
right? And so the opportunity is here, right? But I think what I'm learning is how you present yourself and your business and your skill set has to be on point. So getting educated is going to be very important to make
On
sure
whatever proposition
whatever
you're
it
making.
is, because there's multiple opportunities, not just in land development, right? I think that's going to be the key part. But I definitely think as a part of the Guyanese diaspora, like to take advantage of this and not allow, at least from what I'm seeing, it's a lot more foreign investors outside of Guyana at this conference, right?
Yes,
Taking advantage of these opportunities.
Yes.
And I truly believe these opportunities really exist for the Guyanese people, right?
Should be first.
It should be number one, right? And that's what I truly believe, right? And so that's why I'm bringing my business here. One, for it's my mom and my dad. They're also a part of my business, myself, right? And also to employ other Guyanese, right? So that we can continue to develop this beautiful country sustainably.
Yes, wonderfully.
Salient observations from Lancelot. Specifically, to his point about securing opportunities for Guyanese, it was indeed reassuring to hear President of Guyana Arfan Ali and other regional leaders describe the economic promise of the region and Guyana specifically, but importantly, the policy measures underway to help streamline the development and mechanisms to remove institutional barriers that historically block access to Guyanese. Because when taken in the broader context of Guyana's socio-economic and demographic characteristics, in other words, when we zoom out a bit to include more of the picture, the details present a more realistic view of that portrait. As we would say in Guyana, the story got more than one sides. So I take to the streets now to see what the people got to say. You hear for yourself.
So we want to have, with the growth of the economy, the growth and improvement in the quality of life of the people of Guyana. And women must have access to the best possible health care, best possible education, infrastructure, social services. And this will bring with it greater competition and opportunities. As I said before, in another few years, our salary structure will be comparable to many jurisdictions that our teachers, our nurses went, and they will want to return. And then it will become more competitive to enter different jobs.
So, and the other part is we have Guyana is now being reported as the world's fastest growing economy with all this money. Tell me, do you see any of this economic activity? Go ahead, please.
One group of people, please.
Tell me about how are you affected by the economic growth in Guyana?
The only thing is that the business is slow because this is a rich country. What do we get? We didn't get nothing. The money is in one group.
Explain.
Really? Everybody don't get the money. Everybody don't get the money. And it's straight up. Everybody don't get the money. Everybody don't get the money.
Yeah.
And due to that, the business, Alec went to school. Alec down school closed. So business slow.
Really?
Yeah. What you got to do is buy like £100 or like £50 and I buy £30.
Right.
Drop them. What is it? So we do. This is 200. We have 400.
Carry Bucky.
Bucky? Oh. Yes. 1 2 3. Yes. Otherwise, yeah. 7 and 2 is 9.
Yeah. So you don't feel like the proceeds of this economic activities trickling down to folks like you, even though you're working so hard?
Yes, it didn't come into me. I got to work hard for getting here. But they say you got to work hard and smart. Eh? So you work hard, and by God's grace, you got some people to put together. It's not fully. It's rich and country, yes, but not fully.
I see. Thank you so much, Miss Karen, for talking to me.
Yes, nice reaching you.
Yeah, so if Guyanese coming from like overseas and things like that, how can they find you?
I'm in Rob Street. Rob Street border, bit close to Border Street.
Border Street. Awesome, and this is where your stall is.
Family, according to the experts, development is about improving capabilities and freedoms. And naturally, we have different capabilities, right? As we would also say in Guyana, Rome was not built in a day. And for a country that was less than a decade ago, only in 2016, described as the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, poorer than Haiti, right in the Stabroek News, we cannot dispute that there has been progress. But what we can do is identify as many sides of the development as possible and share it, because development is not a one-dimensional process. In fact, development is a multifaceted process, and Guyana Tapestry commits to continuing to identifying and sharing various aspects of the historic transformation underway in our country, Guyana, and the ways that this development is unfolding for Guyanese across the socioeconomic spectrum, right? Because it's affecting rich and poor. Family, this is Guyana Tapestry, and we are telling Guyana's immigration story. Big thank you for your support. We're continuing to bring you the unbiased, fact-based, man-in-the-street reactions and research to the issues that matter the most to our country and the diaspora communities. Listen, the diaspora is huge, and every Guyanese in it does not know about Guyana Tapestry as yet. So tell them. Invite them to subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch up on some of these amazingly inspiring stories that's appropriate for the entire family. All right? But I got to run. I took up a lot of your time today. Glad a lot of facts were shared and we got more stories coming up. So until the next story, is Guyana Tapestry. This is Chico and his One Love Guyana.
Love runs deep like a beautiful rivers from Guyana. Oh, when we stand as one mighty like Mount Guyana, from Guyana.